11 inches. 11 inches. Hello, everyone. Welcome to No Drama, Just Movies, and we are back this week with another movie review. Hit that subscribe button to stay tuned with all the content that we release on this channel each and every week in the world of TV and movies. My name is Cameron 11 Inches Kelly Smith, and I'm joined by my esteemed colleague here.
Live from New York, it's Phil Corwin.
Oh, that's right. And if you haven't guessed it by now, and you may or may not have, we are here to review none other than Saturday Night. This is obviously directed and co-written by the Jason Reitman, and it is co-written also as well by Gil Keenan, excuse me. This is a movie that has had a late release here in the UK. I think it's been out in the States for a little while now. I don't know what the reason for that is, if that's due to the fact that SNL, that being Saturday Night Live, is a bit more bigger in the US than it is in the UK. I have no idea. But for those who aren't aware, especially those over here in the UK, this is a movie about the fabled story of the first episode of Saturday Night Live, but specifically the build-up in that day of the rehearsals to the actual live show and everything crazy that went about with it. You're more of an SNL guy than I am. Much more, you're more aware of the people in this movie than I am, at least the characters being depicted here. So, what was your thoughts?
Not too well aware. I watched all the YouTube clips and stuff, and I'm keeping up a little bit more now. But I've always been like fascinated by the idea, the myth of around SNL, like going for 50 years and how many comedic like legends or people that are now comedic legends have gone through SNL. It almost feels like, the breeding ground for comedy legends. So there was a bit of like excitement when I heard they're making a film of like, let's put a show, how they put a show together, because I always wanted to like see behind the scenes. Um, but I think it was a little bit let down by the film or the final thing. It's it's a weird one. It's like it's trying to do the thing that it's showing us as a film. Like it starts off very chaotic, and we like there's actually like a lovely like one shot at the beginning where we go like through the building and we see all these rooms and everyone's getting ready, and like so I think Lorne Michaels walks through it and he's making decisions and pointing and blah. And it feels very chaotic, and I think that's the point. And the rest of the film is pretty much like that as well, with little things happening here, and there's chaos, and here is something that he has to a fire that he has to put out, until the last like couple of minutes where it like suddenly comes together and everyone like pitches in to help the guy build the wall, and everyone like it suddenly works together, and it becomes a good show. And that's kind of what the film felt like to me, that there's a lot of chaos until the end. And I'm guessing that's inbuilt. I'm guessing that was the point, but I'm not sure how well it serves the film, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. I mean, me personally, I don't have any kind of like nostalgic connection or any specific like relationship or soft spot to
Hmm.
guys like Belushi or Aykroyd or any of the characters, nor SNL, because that's it's just not been anything that's really like meant that much to me or been something that I really tuned into or anyone that I really enjoyed. A bit out of my time potentially as well. And
Mine
so,
too.
well, yeah, good
Not
point.
quite 50 yet.
That's true. But as a result, for me going in, whereas others, who are watching this movie might be fans of SNL and know who these people are and know what the show is, and you have that to you can ride that wave as well. I'm going in as someone who doesn't know anything about really any of this. And as a result, I feel like for the time that I watch this movie, I am simply watching just a chaotic rehearsal
Hmm.
unfold and not really any drama or anything of real consequence actually happen. And I think, I mentioned this to you previously, but, I think if this is in hindsight, right? And if, let's say, for example, you took the people who were actually there on that night, I think that you ask them now, for example, those who are still with us in hindsight, they're going to talk about that time period and it's going to sound much more, or that night, and it's going to sound much more intriguing and fascinating and crazy because of who these people are now and what SNL has now become.
Mm.
But you speak to those people on the night who weren't very known, or you speak to, for example, some of the crew who didn't know any of these people and who were there, and they're just experiencing this show for the first time. I think it's not going to sound as interesting because these people aren't known. They didn't know these people. SNL isn't a thing. And it is just going to sound like a chaotic rehearsal. And that's how I felt about this movie, that I was just watching just a chaotic rehearsal. It didn't really have any of that juice to it where I felt like, it felt like I was watching something just insane happen. That was this insane moment in time. But it wasn't really. And that's a shame. Like, I think, as I said to you before, I watched some of the YouTube clips beforehand of what this movie was about and how it came to be, and the whole thing with NBC and Carson, and how SNL actually came to be an actual concept, and the build up and what happened afterwards. That's all the stuff I really found the most interesting, but none of that is in the movie because that's not what this movie is. And unfortunately, I'm upset that that is the case, because that to me would have been far more interesting than ultimately what I saw.
It is like literally the 90 minutes, because I think the film is like literally 90 minutes as well, or like a little bit longer. But I think it's supposed to like show us in real time how they're getting ready for this show. That's the confinement they gave themselves, I think. So there's not a lot of space to look at, here's why SNL was bought or like commissioned in the first place, and here's how, that went on. Because I was waiting actually for at the end, usually in biopics or stuff like that, you get the script, the paragraphs there.
Yeah.
Belushi went on to do this, and Lorne Michaels is still involved with SNL or whatever, or SNL has been going on for 50 years now. Yay! But you didn't get that. So I
Yeah.
don't think it was concerned with the before or the after. It was literally just saying, here's what everybody's saying about like a complete unknown right now, right? It's a slice of life. It's this slice in the history of SNL. Here's 90 minutes of SNL. Don't worry about the past. Don't worry about the future. Just this. That's what we're focused on. And I appreciate that they like gave themselves this limitation and actually stuck to it. We get a little bit of like the NBC thing with Carson, and I think that's a really cool scene with Lorne Michaels and his friend. I forget his name. It was like his boss, I guess. That are like on the stairs, and the boss tells him what the actual deal is. That this is just a ploy to get Carson back. It's like just, it's a great scene, and I think that's really all we needed of that and what's behind that. But ultimately, yes, it is the interesting part, I think, to see like what happened before, what happens after. So I think ultimately, yes, with all, sorry, fly, with all those like interesting things around SNL, it's kind of a film that you start watching and you go, I really want to now switch this off and watch a documentary about it. Because I'm pretty sure there was a lot of interesting things going on in real life, that are like much more fascinating than the film could ever depict. And there were probably a lot of like references in there as well, and like what was going on in generally in the like in these people's lives. And I want to see that. I want to know more about that, which the film is not. But yeah, it's one of those that makes you want to just learn more about what actually happened. And I don't I don't know if that's the job the film has to do. But if it was, if that was the point of the film to kind of say, watch some documentaries about SNL or watch SNL itself, um, then yeah, you succeeded.
Well, yeah. I mean, yeah, and I think that's the thing. Like I mentioned these to you as well. Obviously, us being former actors, I think that it is kind of cool what like how they do depict that feeling of theater, that feeling of late night comedy, that feeling of just the hustle and bustle of the entertainment industry, and I think that they do depict that and really make you feel that, which is really nice.
Mm.
However, that's kind of just a side thing. Really and truly, there's other movies that do that as well. Um, Obviously, in terms of performances, quickly, I thought that it was really well performed. I know that you thought the same as well.
I did. There's a lot of actors that I sort of knew, which weren't as probably famous. I didn't know that like Cory Michael Smith, who played Nigma, who played the Riddler, Edward Nigma on Gotham, played Chevy Chase in this, which was a surprise. Dylan O'Brien was in it. He was like famous, I think, most for Maze Runner, the Maze Runner films, but also other stuff. But I didn't recognize any of them.
Mm.
Um, so it was weird because I could
Mm.
buy into their roles. It was weird when suddenly like Willem Dafoe and J.K. Simmons show up. They stuck out like very, very sore thumbs, I feel.
11 inches does stick out, apparently.
Like 11 inch of thumb. Um, it was literally out at some point, I'm pretty sure. So it's not their fault, I think, that they're so famous and so well known, but it was a bit weird, yeah, because it took me out at least a little bit, not the whole film, but it took me out at least a little bit, noticing,
Mm.
becoming so aware of Willem Dafoe and J.K. Simmons in this.
Yeah, and also as well, like I mentioned this to you before as well, the fact that they use their own dialects.
Hmm.
Interesting choice. But I think it didn't help in terms of them sticking out. Even though I really did enjoy them, like seeing them in this movie and the performances. Yeah, they did stick out. But as as J.K. Simmons definitely did show in this movie, some things stick out in a way that you wouldn't expect. Um,
I love that scene as well. Like there was some really,
yeah,
really like funny lines, I suppose. But like
yeah.
from the characters, I guess that's what you get from like when you have a lot of comedy actors and like show people who are supposed to be like funny
Mm,
on the spot. You get a lot of good like banter and back and forth, and especially like that scene between J.K. Simmons and look at that Cory Michael Smith as Chevy Chase when he's looking for his girlfriend and she's with Carson. Is that Carson? Yeah, right.
I
Harold?
don't know. Was that meant to be Carson? I
Oh
actually
no,
don't
it's the
know.
other guy. It's the Mr. TV, right?
Yeah, something like that. A few S's on T.
Yes. We obviously looked at this cast list very closely. Um,
Who is it?
where is he?
Who is it? Who is it? Who is it? 11 inches. 11 inches.
He's
Should
staying
we just
in.
call him 11 inches?
Mr. 11 inches. Um, let's go with that. Milton Berle.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Berle. Um, so yeah, we get that scene where hey, Cory Michael Smith as Chevy Chase is looking for his girlfriend and he finds her with J.K. Simmons, who plays like Mr. Television, Milton Berle. And they have this back and forth, and like it's very vicious, but it's also quite fun,
Hmm.
very clever. So yeah, there were a couple of moments like that, I think.
Yeah. No, I do agree. I do agree. I mean, overall, decent movie. I think it definitely makes you want to find out more about what happened for those who, already know, you might want to find out more as well.
Hmm.
But anything else finally you want to add before we go to our IC review scores?
No, I think we can have a little Slurpee time.
Oh, slurpy slurp and 11 inches. Oh, yeah. Well, that will do it for our review, obviously, of Saturday night. So let's go to our IC review scores. How many ICs will you be giving this movie out of 10?
I might have to go, and this might It might increase again, like if I watch more about surrounding times and like the people and all the references. Once I understand what these references mean, if there are any, I might give this a higher one. But for now, I think I have to say 6 out of 10.
Ooh, and I'm gonna go with 5.5 ICs out of 10. However, I do agree with you that I think by watching more, documentaries and content surrounding what actually happened, if you do that, then go back and watch this movie, that score could go up. So yeah, you're going with 6 ICs out of 10. I'm going with 5.5 ICs out of 10. So that will do it for our review of Saturday Night. Once again, we are No Drama Just Movies. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel if you like our content. Like, comment, share. Drop down in the comment section below. Let us know your thoughts on this movie. And please let us know if there's anything that we didn't pick up on or we don't know that you could give us some insight on that could change maybe our perspective on this movie. Once again, my name is Cameron 11 inches Kelly Smith, and I'm joined by my esteemed colleague here.
Live from New York, it's Phil Corwin.
Oh, that's right. Someone give us our own late night talk show, comedy show,
Wicked.
whatever it may be,
Don't do
because
it.
we've got a lot to perform, a lot to say, and a lot to do. That's right, 11 inches. Once
You'd
again, we are No
probably be
Drama,
more the
just,
sidekick, though.
yeah, maybe,
I'd be the guy
maybe.
behind the desk, and you'd be the sidekick I send out on like weird missions and stuff.
I think so. Missions is the magic word, apparently. Once again, we are No Drama, Just Movies. Thank you very much for checking out our review today, guys, and we will see you very, very soon. Take care, guys.
Bye.